We are brought to you by the Angry Marks Network. www.angrymarks.com is where you can find this show from this point forward. We got a lot of things to get going today. We have our guest this evening, Steve Cox, wrestler with World Class Championship Wrestling, Global Wrestling Federation, one of the Japanese promotions, a smaller one, if I'm not mistaken, as well. UWF, I think he spent some time with.
I believe.
Guys, let's call a timeout.
Hey, I'm here. What's up?
Got Steve Cox in the house now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I just left. I apologize, guys. You know, in the business, they always say we're going to be late. Be late enough. We're damn glad to see you. But I try to be on time, and I just leaving a wrestling tool. So.
Hey, you kept me posted the whole time, so I appreciate it, bud.
Oh, yeah. I try to stay on top of my business, so. And I apologize, though.
You know what, Steve? I was just watching one of your matches today on YouTube, a GWF match between yourself and other Rookie of the Year contender Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
Watching you guys go at it while Missy Hyatt was making comments that if she had to pick between the two good-looking guys in the ring, she would take Shane Douglas because he wore shorts and you were hiding your legs under your long tights, Steve.
Well, actually, that was Bill Watts, and that's when Bill brought me in to be Dr. Ness' protégé, and it was between me and Shane Douglas, and there really was a reason why Missy Hyatt would say that. You know, she used to take, you know, she came in with John Tatum, ended up with Eddie Gilbert, but she would sneak off with Shane Douglas and do him up. She just had a thing for young boys, you know, so. Yeah, Missy was a good girl. Dark Journey, now, I got a few stories about that girl also, but anyway, good girls. And, but yeah, that was really, and that shows where Shane Douglas was at. Troy Martin, you know, he come out of there, you know, him and Mankind and all that, but out of Pittsburgh, and, you know, he was putting on shows when he was in high school, you know, so, and you go to see what he went on to do with ECW and all the things he's done, so, you know, he was meant for the business.
So, Steve, was that actually UWF, not GWF?
Yeah, that was UWF.
Okay.
And, you know, I was still a pretty green guy, but they were bringing me along pretty quick. And that was my first baby match. And, you know, in the business, you know, what a lot of, you know, nowadays what changed, but back in the day it was kayfabe, and, you know, there's a lot of different matches you got to learn and progress through before, you know, you can actually help out a crew and they're not carrying you. But that was my first baby, you know, match. You know, today you kind of, you know, beef it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it was just hilarious because, you know, I was so green and I didn't know shit about the business. And I hear you got little kids, so I'll try to keep it a standstill. But I don't really back off what I say something about the business. But, you know, the baby on baby, Golly G. Wally. We're both Golly G. Wally guys, helping each other up, shaking hands, you know, all strict, clean moves and that kind of scenario. But Shane called that whole match, and which was, you know, good for me because I was still just adjusting, getting my ass kicked by all the big guys there at UWF. You know,
So, Steve, you played football at Tulsa. What got you into wrestling in the first place?
Well, you know, this going back in the day, there weren't gyms like there were everywhere. And there was a place called Mike Morgan's Gym. And it's an old school rust, blood, you know.
Did we just lose Steve?
I want to hear Dark Journey stories.
We're going to get to that too. Kev, can you try to catch him again if you could?
Looks like he dropped off the line here. We'll try to get him back on again.
Okay, let's do that, please.
I actually have my elbows on my desk with my fist in my cheeks waiting for those Dark Journey stories.
Yes. Oh. Sorry, guys, I got Steve back on the line here for us.
Yeah, sorry about that. Usually I got pretty good coverage, but I'm mobile. Anyway, what got me into wrestling was, you know, I was an All-American at the University of Tulsa, and then I played football in the USFL, and with the Michigan Panthers, and I worked out all the time, and all the boys for a long time worked out at Morgan's Gym. And, I mean, I'm at snook, pork chop, God, hack bar, you know, But I was sitting in the locker room literally with Sting, and, he wasn't over. He just came into territory with the Warrior, and I got to talking, and, I knew about Bill Watts UWF. And anyway, they were telling me what all was about, and then they invited me down to the convention center to watch television, their guests, because, I was always in the back shooting the shit with him, Steiner. Scotty wasn't in it yet. He's still like a 200-pounder. But anyway, so I go down there, and then I was talking, and then, Bill Watts asked if I'd be interested in being in the business. So, well, I'm not for sure what I need to do. He says, well, go get some boots and tights, and I'll give you a call. He got my number, and 2 weeks later, he called me up, and I went and I didn't have to lace my boots up. Terry Taylor made fun of me. And my big audition was running the ropes. That was it. He told me I was hired.
Hey, Steve, when you said you played in the USFL, were you on the Michigan Panther team that won the championship?
Oh, yeah, baby. Coach Stanley and Bobby Hebert was the quarterback. Ken Lacey was the running back. And Coker, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And hell, we were actually outdrawn, which is not hard, the Detroit Lions up there in the Superdome. And if they were just, Trump wouldn't have, I hope kids come to ears, Trump wouldn't have fucked up a good deal. Think where spring football be now, in the world. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of great talent, But what happened was, I left Tulsa, we were 10-1 ranked, and then I went right to the USFL, I played. And Stanley liked me because, he was, Coach Stanley, I don't know if anybody knows about Bear Bryant, went out to the Texas wastelands and with 100-some guys came back with 21 guys. Well, Coach Stanley was one of those 21 guys.
Oh, wow.
Old school, hardcore, badass, But that's why Watts liked me, Doc. You know what I mean? I'm just, I'm from the country and shit. I'm just too stupid to quit, really. And, but, yeah, I decided I didn't want to do football anymore because I just beat the crap, I played in, I played in 33 ball games in 10 months. And I was beat up. So I just took, I decided I'm going to do something else. And really that's how I come across Watts and them and meeting Bill. And, Bill, the nice part when I broke in, I had my first match up in Miami, Oklahoma, but I rode around a lot with Bill Watts and hung out with Doc Chavo Guerrero, Terry Taylor, a lot of those guys. But, I listen because Watts told me, so I'm going to say a lot of shit. Don't ever interrupt me and just listen. It won't make sense. But as you progress in your career, a lot of this stuff will start popping for you. And, he really smartened me up on the business side of things, how a promoter looks at the business. How you look at the card approach, this, build cards, talent, what do you need? Why does he have this guy, not that guy? And that kind of scenario. But, Watts, as he cranked out some top-flight talent.
Is he as tough as he seems like he is on screen?
Oh, he's a bad motherfucker, man, straight up. And, all those guys from his era, San Martino. You take any of those guys from the 50s, 60s, 70s, they'd fuck you up, piss on you, beat the shit out. I mean, he even I
think we lost him again.
I think Bill Watts got him.
Yeah, I think so. Get him back again, Kev, please. Just now getting to the interesting parts here.
Yeah, because I definitely had one question for him, and it's not in relation
we'll
to...
definitely get to it, I promise, Joe. When we were talking about the USFL, the funny thing is, I have a major addiction to defunct sports leagues for some reason. So getting some USFL information from Steve Cox. I remember being in California back in the USFL days visiting, and I remember seeing Steve Young in the LA Express practicing on the side of a major interstate or highway in California, and really got pretty stoked about it.
Well, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't appear that his phone is reachable at this time.
What I was saying, gentlemen, is I have a particular obsession with defunct sports leagues. And that listening to Steve talk about the USFL got me going. I was in California, I think it was my senior year in high school, taking a vacation, and we were driving down one of the highways and saw Steve Young and the Los Angeles Express practicing on a barren field right next to the interstate. So I was pretty stoked at seeing that as a young 18-year-old prophet. or 17 years old, or however old I was at the time.
Sorry, guys. Where did I forget? Look, I apologize. I never drop calls like this. This is weird.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
Steve, you were in the middle of telling us about Bill Watts and how tough he really is.
Yeah. All those guys from there are just, tough. They're just, especially those guys coming out of New York or, big names coming, you really had to be a freaking crowbar to survive. But, yeah, I watched, when I was first breaking in, some guy, they had a boot, he got mad at, I think, Terry Taylor, somebody, how the kids that, bottom turnbuckle in the corner, and he's got a boot up on the throat and choking him. And anyway, Bill looked at the guy, I think it was Terry, says, listen, motherfucker, he's like, you know better, but I'm going to deal with you later. And he grabbed this guy and literally starts choking him. Choking him up against the wall. I thought he was killing him. Anyway, I kind of make a move to grab Bill by the arm, and Doc does this, stand down thing, and this guy's literally getting choked out. Bill started, and Bill's calm as hell going, yeah, and all of a sudden this guy really started fighting. He said, that's how you sell a chokehold in UWF. Do you understand me? If I ever see you do a bullshit choke sell like that again, I will choke you out, kill you, put you in a box, ship you back to your grandmother. And calm, talking calm, but, Bill's a big old school bull, he's I'm like 240 pounds, and he's 320, Doc, running 280, 290, and, Dugan up there 290, and, I always felt like a badger in the land of grizzlies. So,
the cool thing about you, Steve, is remembering the things you've done. It seems like whatever promotion you got into, you got hooked up immediately with a big-time tag team star. I mean, when you went to World Class, it was Michael Hayes brought you in, and then when you went to Global, you had Sweet Stan Lane teaming with you. I mean, you got paired up with some legends, especially tag team legends, immediately.
Well, and I went all over it, and it's for one simple fact, the way I was brought in, and because I don't know shit, but I'll tell you, I hung around with Chavo Guerrero, Bill Watts, Dr. Death. You know what I'm saying? I was connected at the hip with Chavo for about 2 years. And for good or bad, I think there's some bad habits. I learned a lot. But
Chavo Jr.
and hanging out with Bill Watts and I was always a baby face, as I put it over, but I learned about being a worker. All I hear from these dick shits nowadays are psychology and, ring savvy or, and it's so hard to learn because, I tell people, my first, 5 years in the business, I was running 250 shows a year, working with the best, and, that's still 2,000, who in the hell nowadays can work 2,000 matches, in 5 years or less, you know what I'm saying? And with the guy.
Oh no!
Again.
See, now it's Dark Journey who's stopping him getting on.
That's gotta get.
We still haven't heard our Dark Journey stories. That needs to be.
We're trying to get to that point, Zane. Excuse me. All right. While we're waiting for Steve, let's talk about Ryback a little bit. He's sending these screwy
Do we
tweets.
have to?
Ryback's sending these screwy tweets and then deleting them. What's your opinion on what he's doing? Is it all just a work, Zane Paisley?
I don't know. I fell for it the other night. I actually posted something on my Facebook group, Pro Wrestling Obsession, about his mysterious tweets. And then he showed back up on at a house show the next day and was on Raw this weekend. If his new gimmick is that he is anti-internet or he wants to work us internet readers, then that's fine. I think it's great. I think it's actually kind of hilarious. So at least he is doing something with his character. He's putting himself over and not waiting for the WWE to make it happen for him.
Kyle, your thoughts on Ryback and his mysterious tweets?
I just love the idea of him being anti-internet. Like, I want to see a segment where it's like the old ones where he was backstage beating up the catering guys, except he's just punching the crap out of an iPad. Like, maybe we could get that match booked for WrestleMania, like Ryback versus an HP Pavilion.
What does Drake Younger get to play the iPad?
He gets to play the iPad. Joe Knight, your thoughts on Ryback?
Well, I was never a fan of Ryback. To me, he's just like such a blah guy. I wasn't a fan of his, ring work. His promos definitely didn't sell me. But I think this can work for him. Being this anti-internet, getting out there. I think it's a way to help promote him and see what doors can open for him. So I think if he sticks to this for a while, build himself up, somebody's going to want him back. Either Vince will bring him in and give him that gimmick. Like he'll see, remember the old Raw general manager where it was the laptop? Wouldn't it be funny? Yeah. He comes out and breaks the laptop and says, I'm anti, internet or something, and he breaks that. It's good. I think he should stick to that. Lord knows, stay away from a mic.
Well, what about if he fought Zack Ryder for the Internet Championship at Mania?
That would work. It should, and that can only be broadcast on YouTube.
Or
pre-show.
The network.
You know what?
Or they can fight on the WWE Network exclusive for the Internet Championship.
Look, they want to raise the subscriptions, not lower it.
You know what, Joe? People have been all over Ryback for, his Goldberg comparisons and all that. As time marches on, I'm not thrilled exactly with what WWE is doing with his characters. However, he's improving. And listening to him do promos doesn't bother me at all because he actually gets it over to me, in my opinion. When he's doing a heel promo, listening to him talk, and he sounds like a bully. He sounds like somebody, just a smart, wise ass character that you just wish you were big enough to punch him back in the face. I don't know. I like Ryback as a heel. I just wish WWE knew what the heck they wanted to do with him and don't have him job out to Sin Cara at house shows.
You know what? Let me say this: does the WWE have too much talent that they can't really focus on people to give them something better characters, better packaging?
No, Joe. This is my thought. WWE does not have any competition, so they're lazy. They've got people in positions who don't have to worry about being threatened because they don't have a Monday Night War going on where they have to up the ante. They're lazy. It's that simple. They don't have any more talent than they've ever had. They're just lazy. They're not good.
And I agree with you 100%.
All right, Kevin, can we get the illustrious Steve Cox back with us again, I hope?
Here we go.
All right. Every time he gets in the middle of something juicy that he's wanting to talk about, we lose him. Just wrong.
Maybe Ryback's behind it.
Maybe. Yes, but I just put Ryback over. He needs to...
Maybe it's Ryback and Dark Journey.
That's a possibility. Or maybe Missy Hyde's mad at us.
Boy, there's a combination for today's WWE.
Yes.
And let's throw in a little bit of Bill Watts, who's probably pissed off with wrestling as it is.
Yeah, he's the one to be worried about more than the others.
They use too many top rope maneuvers.
Yeah. And they're throwing people over the ropes too. You can't do that either. Banning top rope maneuvers and banning throwing people over the top rope.
Hey, Rick, while we're trying to get him back, do you want to tell us who the guests next week are?
You know what, Zane? I would love to tell you who upcoming guests are while we've got the time to do so. Next week, we have none other than Trevor Murdoch joining us, or you can call him Stand Up, or you can call him Jethro Holiday, or whatever you want to call him. Trevor will be
WWE veteran and TNA veteran?
Yes. So Trevor Murdoch will be with us, but also, just added today, he has been with Just Incredible on his Wrestling 101 series. We also have the boy diva himself, Rick Cataldo, joining us as well in that show. So that should be a doozy. If you haven't followed much of Rick Cataldo, he's a riot. And I think we're going to have a heck of a show with Stir on the Internet. And then Talo will also be with us.
I believe we have Steve back on the line with us finally.
Steve Cox, it's you!
Woo-hoo!
We were talking about, Steve, we were talking about you teaming up with legendary tag team wrestlers like Michael Hayes and Sweet Stan Lane and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And what you can see today, they don't really do much tag matches. They're trying. And that's an art form, baby. You got 5 people rolling and going. You know what I'm saying? And I never forget when I first started. I remember fought too. You see a rotating door, get the fuck back in the corner. Oh shit, I didn't know. You know when to come in, go out, do things or spots. But I was a quick read. But that's why I'm saying from, like I said, to baby face matches, tag matches. You got to put time in and develop. It truly is. It's an art form. It's a skill set. But like you're saying, with PS, what PS taught me was, the showmanship side of things. That's where I really came along with working the mic, talking a match, that kind of scenario. Bill helped me a lot in that too. Bill Watts, how to do an interview and talking, because there was no bigger showman. Well, like Flair maybe, but Flair was Flair. Flair was always Flair. And Michael Hayes was like that too.
Yes, he was.
And the Freebirds, they were fun to party with. Because they were the Freebirds. I mean, that's something else. Me and Michael, cool. And, but yeah, they took me in, and then, just like you said, with Sweet Stan Lane and Cornette, and, putting them over, and, worked a hot angle, and I came in, I hooked up with Putz, Scott Putsky, and then I got to turn heel finally on Putz, and so that was fun. After 7, 8 years in the business, I finally get to be a heel. But hell, I was running Japan over there with that UWF shoot stuff, so with Gary Albright and those guys.
Yep. Hey, Steve, I've got one of my co-hosts for the evening, Joe Knight. He's a promoter out in New Jersey with Classic Wrestling Association. He wanted to ask you a question.
All right.
Hey, Steve, how you doing? Thanks for being on the show.
Well, thank you.
I have a question for you. How did it feel when you were teaming with Michael Hayes? I remember this specifically. When they brung you into World Class and you went up against Buddy Roberts and the Samoan SWAT team, how was that like to be teaming up with one Freebird against another Freebird?
Well, it was really weird because, I'll take you back a little bit. I was doing really hot in UWF, then NWA, and Crockett bought up UWF, and I had to put over the Boss Man to run up against Doc for the Heavyweight Championship belt. That's the first time I met Cornette. And, they did a big-time squash match. And really, that first time, I did that, but it all made sense. But when NWA started trimming the crew, actually, Dusty Rhodes, the one who came in and gave me my walking papers. And so I'm like, I got to take a break, kind of like my football thing. I did almost 2 years of UWF, and I was pretty well beat up, and I kind of had to regather myself. So I went and worked with Geigel up in Kansas City, and I was working up there, Bulldog Bob Brown, baby. I'm telling you, my roommate in college loved Bulldog Bob Brown. I don't know if folks know who he is, but he's a legendary wrestler in the territory. And anyway, I was working up there, and I get a call from some office people that they're coming into town, WCCW, and they're working the fairgrounds here in Tulsa. Would you like to work with Michael? And you got to lose, I'm like, well, shit, I don't give a shit. What's the payoff, So I showed up, and I worked a match, and the Samoans worked the style I was used to. Big spots, big moves, big bumps, power. 300-pounders, right? They're beasts. And Michael, I was around him with UWF, Blitz, and all that. But I already knew, let's see, Michael start, heat on me, Michael take it home. What a big fucking surprise that call of a match was. But so I thought it was a one-time deal. So anyway, they called me up, and the office did out of Dallas, saying, would you want to come in and work full-time? I said, well, I've already got a deal working up in Kansas City with Geigel, and they said, well, I tell you what, come in Friday, let's work another match. Fritz wants to see you, all that. So, Pritchard, I was talking to Pritchard, and so I go down there, we work another match, we kill it. And this, again, going back, here's why I was glad I was with Bill Watts. He always said, being a worker, never be upset what a promoter makes, because it's up to you to dictate what you get paid when you sit down and negotiate with a promoter, and I walked in with Fritz, made the deal, and he paid me more than what he shot at me, but, I figured we're going to be working semi-main, so anyway, we started working, and Buddy Jack goes by and says, don't get comfortable, we're going to see if you can hang in there and work with us. And, I had that look. I was a college kid. Michael Hayes would always get shit-faced, you fucking juke and all that, but what I loved about it was I wasn't so involved with P.S., you know what I'm saying? But what was really nice about working tag teams, it has to my skill sets, and I'm working big-time tags, and back in the day, how tags were, rock and roll, midnight, or Freeburgs, and on top of that, I really enjoyed working against the Samoans, but god dang, we literally got in a couple of shoot situations. Me and Samu didn't really, Sam would do stupid shit, and I'd come back at him just as hard and let him know, I know, what you're trying to do here. But, it would just give me, I saw it as a great opportunity, because, I came in, this is where I'm at, but I really saw it as a great, great, great opportunity to learn from Michael, that showman bit side, but more we'll learn to work big time tag. Because the more ways you can work, the more you can get on a card and keep on working. So that's kind of a long answer to the question, but yeah, I loved it. Michael, showman. I never seen nobody, even out in the world, that could work the crowd like Michael could. Nobody. I can tell you stories about, I don't believe this shit, but, and then working with the Samoans the way they worked, but nobody could follow us. We did 5-star tag team matches. A bunch of beasts run around and heat on me, baby, and Michael make comeback. Let's take it home.